And hello, everybody. We are live. Good morning or afternoon or evening, wherever you happen to be in the world. Let's go ahead and get started. So, a couple of things I'm going to do. First of all, I'm going to bring the music back. Second of all, apologies in advance if you hear my dog. Hello. Let me go ahead and pop this on here, then go ahead and do our music back on. Perfect. Hopefully you can hear it pretty well. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it up on my end. Hello. Amazing. We're gonna go ahead and give you the chance to really quickly check in. I'm gonna drop the check-in link in the chat for a few minutes. And just leave it up here for anyone who wants to check in on the website. I'm gonna pop this on here, and then I'm gonna go ahead and also link our lovely little home-based resource, and we should be able to go from there. Now, let's go ahead and see, right? We've got this ready to get started and everything else. So we should be all good to go, which is awesome. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen here. Might want to turn this side if I want to set this up. Gonna do. But let's do this real quick. I'm gonna go ahead and show y'all some of the things that we worked on in part 1 and also did earlier last week or last session, and then go from there. I'm just looking at this project that was open source that one of my friends was working on. We got this. Can you tell us when we can complete challenges? That's a great question. I believe, let's look on the dev post really quickly. I think if you wanted to count for this Global Hack Week, then you need to complete the challenges before closing ceremony, which is at 10 p.m. Yeah, there you go. There's your answer. What are the swag related challenges? So if you go, I'll go ahead and share my screen here and then we'll go over it. If you go to GHW.mla.io, right, to the website, go ahead and take a look at the swag options, right? This talks over a little bit how Global Hack Week specifically swag works, but also if you head into the challenges, right, then you can go ahead and view some of the challenges they can complete, and some of these will have specific swag related kind of drops that come up through different portions of the time. Yeah, that's a little bit about that. If you have any other questions, I wasn't sharing my screen. Let me do that again. GHW.mla.io. If you look on here on swag, this describes a little bit about, like standard. This tab here, ghw.emily.io/swag. Tells you a little bit about that. And then also, if you go to the new challenge website, right, like Quakers and Cheese said, the new swag related challenges, you can find them by the little green star. So I'll also go ahead and, well, this is just off the website. Yeah. There you go. Sweet. Okay. Okay, so let's go ahead and, yeah, you're very welcome. Let's go ahead and jump into my stream plan for today. So first of all, I'm going to go ahead and open up the GitHub repository and then also the Notion. Got both of these lovely guys in here. And then let me share that screen super quickly. So I'm going to start with the Notion page. Ta-da! Well, you can see it. Ta-da! Beautiful. So in here, we've got, right, our repository. Let me also drop the check-in link and time here so we have it. And then this is also a great time to let y'all know and also remind you at the end that for GenAI week, you can go ahead and leave us feedback at emily.lake/GenAI feedback. Super helpful. Or GHW feedback, not GenAI feedback. I don't know what's the that. All right, and then we got Thursday, 19 from 9 to 11 ST, which is part 2. That's right here. Perfect, right? And tells you a little bit about all the streams that we've worked on if you want to review specific YouTube videos and things like that. Ooh, we should add, well, I'll do this later. We'll do this after the stream, though. All right, perfect. So that should go ahead and cover that. And then also, right, like here we've got our repository set up for this project. We went through and did quite a decent amount of work actually getting this repository set up last time. So what I'm thinking we could do today is work a little bit on building out some more of the features. At the end of last stream, we had working front and back end off with Google, which was obviously huge progress, as I'm sure we all know. But we can go ahead and work a little bit on getting some of these things set up. So we will go ahead. Well, let's go ahead and Let's add this guy, and then I'm gonna open up VS Code super quickly. I gotta check out something. Cool. All right, I got our project, and here everything's updated, and then I do just need to set some things up for my screen. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that super duper quickly. I had to take an exam yesterday and move everything around on my desk, and I put those where it was not. Just where I put it, and so on and so forth. I'm gonna complain about it. Let's inherit this guy. Perfect. Okay. So now we should be able to do this, and I should be able to grab this guy, move him over. Size changed, but that's fine. Grab the Notion page, move it over, and then let me close, make sure everything else is closed. We are all good, except for VS Code. And then this way, I can go ahead and remove, present the second screen, not that one, this one. And we should be good. So now we should be able to alternate back and forth between things, which is awesome, obviously. And then what I want to work on a little bit today is, let's maybe start with some README updates and go from there. I'm gonna turn the music down a little bit. You can still hear my poor dog going and poor dog. I need to write down what the shortcut is for previewing readmes, and because I always forget. Let's look it up. Preview. What is it? Control Shift V. Cool. So it should be Command Shift V on Mac, and then should be able to. Perfect. Oh, perfect. Amazing. So we've got our Explorer on the side here, our README, our Copilot extension here, which is awesome. And then also our, just embedded in here, our terminal window. And yeah. So in here, we did our shields earlier, right? We need to talk through our getting started, that's fine. Usage, that's fine. This I might do, will it let me do that? Or is it going to keep playing? Oh, it doesn't. I think I do want to. Yeah, so what I want to do, and then link this to GHW. Okay, cool. And then our built with, getting started, and then keys. Cool. We do need a project logo eventually, so maybe let's go to issues. I wonder if there's something that okay, so I was wondering if there's something that we can use for yeah, so I want to look into this issue creation. Okay, so you can only access Copilot through VS Studio Code. That seems wrong. No, okay, perfect. Sweet. So github.com/copilot, create issue. Awesome. Wait, this is so cool. I want to add an issue about expanding the usage category in readme.md. The issue should contain the enhancements and good first issue tag. It should follow the format in the nudged repository for creating feature requests located in the, what's the file called? Feature request.entry file. This is really cool, actually. Expand usage category, example uses. This is cool. This is insanely cool. Awesome. Okay, cool. And then help me create another new feature request issue to add a logo to nudged into the readme.md file. Cool. Mm-hmm. That is super cool, actually. right, so I sent up this link in here, and then I think let's oh my goodness. No, this one's not closed. Okay. Let's see. Let's see if we can work, maybe try some UI work. All right, let's see what it comes up with. Let's comment this out for now. Cool. All right, sweet. So instead of redirecting to local host 3001, we're logged in with Google. I want the user to be off to the dashboard page and form. So let's go to backend server.ts here and update dashboard. All right. Right now, our front-end URL is just localhost 3000, and then in the end of each here, we'll do backend. And my backend URL is currently at localhost 3001. Cool. And then that way, now when I go into server.ts, I will get the front-end URL. And then cool. Let's go ahead and grab this code really quickly and pop it into dashboard.tsx here. Of course, let's go ahead and now run the project, right? Because that's local. Let's look where it failed to fetch custom. I don't know why I'm yelling so much, my goodness. Let's see if we can figure this out. Okay. So currently there is an uncaught runtime exception, and the dashboard Let's see if the AI can help us debug out of this one. I am a big fan of this Copilot chat actually right now. This is really cool. I wonder if I messed up the backend URL is localhost 3001. Front end URL is localhost 3000. And it's HTTPS, right? It's HTTPS. Right? No. So it's HTTP. Okay. That should work. But it doesn't for some reason, so that's weird. Okay. Let's import cores here. Let's install cores. go ahead and commit this guy up. Very basic dashboard layout. Get these changes, perfect. Sweet, and now we obviously have the issue where localhost 3000 dashboard doesn't connect to well. Localhost 3000 looks good. Oh. I see it. So I want to search the repo for / dashboard and replace it. Because I think we just want to redirect to front end URL here. And let's try it now. So now if I try to log in fully from scratch, right? Log in with Google, choose an account, should redirect me back to the home page, show my name right there. Perfect. Okay. So yeah, let's think about what we want to work on next here, right? Because I don't know why I'm flipping through tabs like that 7 million times. Maybe, I mean, we could do a couple of things, right? We could, we could actually make this look nicer, right? So like we could work on the, like look and feel of everything. Or what we can also do is so we could work on the look of this, right? With the repo and the bugs and the features, of course. Or what we could also do is right, like make this look prettier. We could also connect it up to the database and like create actual data in my account and perfect. You know what? Can we work on making the UI prettier and more? I am looking for something that looks more professional and polished than the current version we have created. Specifically, let's see. What are some good websites? Our website. Best. I want to like. If there's a cloud plan service provided for the hackathon, if you go to GHW.mlh.io and look under challenges, you should be able to find sort of all of the resources that we have available for this one. Not sure specifically on cloud services for this one, especially because it's not like, you know, it's a global hack week. It's not exactly a hackathon, but oh, look at some of the Figma design kits. I'll look for through homework here. I think this is just showing a lot of people's homework, which is funny. Let's go through here, and it is minimalist and mimics a paper notebook journal in how it looks. I know that's not very specific, but we'll see what it can come up with. I'm not the most artistically inclined. Hold on. Okay, perfect. All right, sweet. Let's see here. All right, so this is. So they're saying front end components. Can I reorganize or organize the .css and the .tsx files for this project? Let's try that. Recommended folder structures. They're saying to stick each one into its own. Okay. So new folders, like dashboard should get its own folder that has dashboard.tsx, and yes, import, and then also a new file called dashboard and .css. Cool. Let's grab this guy, pop it into here. Boom. I want to see what this looks like. Oh, and then I have CSS files. Yeah. And SRC styles, nice. All right, I want to see what it came up with for the design. I'm really curious. I hate that font. Okay, sweet. I don't think much has changed in dashboard.tsx here, but let's see. And then dashboard.css, of course. Trying to think. I want to try a different imported font. Can I hate the one that they're using right now? There we go. I think I like that a little bit more. All right, I want to see what it comes up with. Mm-hmm. I don't know if much is changing from this version of the dashboard to the other. I don't think there is, but kind of hate this version. I think I want to roll back to V3. Okay, sweet. Working on this super quickly, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. Taking a look at this, right? Because then we've got, of course, the like on gray monitoring, student reminders, right? Next. Recent activity. I do think that then I do think I want to try to use like H4 instead and see what happens. Let's try H2. I do think for now I'm just gonna move maybe this div for the notebook quick links. Yeah, I don't think it's needed right now. I think this makes a decent amount more sense, right? We have Let's think about what we want to work on next. I mean, I think the main thing is just gonna be, right, like working on it, pulling actual data from. So instead of pulling dummy data from the dashboard.tsx file, can you help me create dummy data in my MongoDB cluster for this user, and then use that data and display. We're not really fine-tuning an LLM. We're not doing much with actual, like, we're not really adding AI to the project yet because it's not at that stage. User, and then use that data. All right, cool. Let's work on this part. I'm gonna go ahead and log into Mongo real quick. So let me stop sharing my screen for 2 seconds. What is the Pacific Connect to MongoDB and how do you set up locally? So we have what we're building out, and I'm just gonna go ahead and point to the repo here. We're building out a grade tracking system, right? So MongoDB is serving as our database. We're storing user information and things like that. We need to actually, like, for setting it up locally, in my backend file, right, within my like server.tsx, right, it went through the MongoDB initial setup steps and kind of works through a portion of it. What is currently the purpose for it? What data is stored? Because mostly should be able to call APIs for it. No, if it's like specific student data that's limited to each, like, if it's specific student data is limited to each teacher, it's not like I can just add that into the API in itself. We have an API to gather that information, and the API makes calls for those. But it does need to sometimes connect to the MongoDB database to get that specific information. it's more like schools have databases with this information. Sure. But just because there are databases doesn't mean that there are publicly accessible APIs for those databases. Not to mention that this isn't necessarily like, just telling you from a teacher's perspective, the school database that we use to update grades is updated with student grades every week. Versus a tool like this, which is specific to my classroom, I can update it every minute if I want to, or every second, right? More concerned about the data instructions in the EU, students will have to give consent to the storage of this information on an external database, but if you call an API into what's stored, it's a gray area. I mean, a couple of things, right? First of all, dummy project, right? Primarily learning purposes, not using actual student data. Second of all, while, you know, like, EU privacy laws are in place for a reason, they do not apply in this case for my purposes. I'm a US based teacher, at least in my case, right? Third of all, while obviously, right, like me developing this in the MLH umbrella would consider this like an external development, like on an external database, that doesn't mean that I couldn't locally host it eventually if I wanted to expand this out further. Right? It's kind of striking the balance between doing things for learning purposes versus not. Yeah, of course. I mean, generally, right, like, currently it's not like it's deployed locally anywhere, right? It's not like I'm deploying it or grabbing that information, right? Or even storing it like in any specific portion, right? It's right now it's a local host and it's a test environment, so it's not like it's anything crazy in either way. Sure. Do I have work-life balance? Uh, I mean, that's a funny question. I'd say right now I do. Obviously, one of the perks of working in education is that I do have a summer vacation, right? So it's relatively, obviously, emphasis on relatively, easy for me to take a break, especially during this time. It helps a decent amount. Obviously, then again, I'm, spending a portion of my summer working here, right? And I'm leaving for hackathon today. Not to mention also, working with other coaches and doing lots of other things and teaching class over the summer and lots of other stuff. But still, I, have friends and family that I hang out with a decent amount of time. I have a dog that I spend a lot of time with as well. So it's not like I'm, doing this all the time. So I'd say so. Like, even the last few days, I had to study for an exam and actually pass it, but I got it out of the way, got it sorted, and we did great. So, how'd you make it easily accessible for teachers to run locally and not deploy on the cloud? I'm considering doing this to a couple of my projects. Document. If you can package it into an executable, honestly, like, just thinking about, it depends on how tech savvy your audience is. I do think, unfortunately, right, like, if I were to run this locally in the education space and, tell some of my coworkers with less of a technical background to open terminal and run a back end and then run a front end and execute terminal commands, I think I would lose a lot of people super quickly. So I think the main thing you're going to need to do is try to, so if you are doing it locally, avoid having them use an ID and see the code at all, and avoid having them have to type in terminal commands, which to me, effectively executable is the only way, right? So you're going to have to compile it for them effectively, which obviously creates the issues of how do you even do that and all of those other things. But honestly, I have no idea. Absolutely not. I don't do much work with TypeScript to begin with, let alone enough to, warrant me being able to give helpful advice here. Just speaking from personal experience, right? Having to open an IDE like this would already be difficult. And not to mention also if we're talking within a corporate setting or an education setting, I had to get permission to download VS Code on my staff device. Not talking about student, right? Not talking about those. On my staff device, I still had to get permission to download VS Code. I do not have terminal access on my school staff computer, despite the fact that I teach computer science. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, I digress. And I had to lobby hard for administrator access. So, you are going to be dealing with device limitations here, and also the limitations of what your user can accomplish without. Most people don't even know what, most people don't know what command line is on Windows. Most people don't have an IDE installed, right? All of these things are true. So if you're gonna try and compile things locally instead of deploying on the cloud, executable. I don't think that it is a worthwhile nor realistic ask for a non-technical audience. I would even argue for a very non-technical audience to for a very non-technical audience to have. That makes sense. How do you really balance that stuff? Honestly, it's trial and error. Sometimes it works well, sometimes it doesn't. There's good days, there's bad days, there's good weeks, there's bad weeks, there's good months, there's bad months, right? I think just generally preparing yourself for solid, for kind of how to work that's realistic and reasonable, but also finding something that you enjoy doing. Like, I know that sounds cliche, but it is really true, right? Like, if you like the job and you like the layout, it feels less like a chore and a thing that you have to do. We spend so much of our time at work, whether we like it or not, like in order to survive in this world, that it is helpful to have a lot of this information. I want to see if I can you help me create? I kind of want to see if it can help me create a logo. I really want to see what its limitations are. I'll try this. I do want to see if I can. If I go into that, we need that MT. I do Command Shift V, right? The preview. Yep. And I can split this up, and then if I go into there, I can see. I think I'll go into front end and then to. Just do a new folder here, assets. Then let's do logo. Yeah. File logo.svg. And then okay, so it does not let you in fact preview, which is kind of unfortunate. You can't see the SVG file, but let me go ahead and try that. Hello. We're gonna try that, right? So it's logo. I believe now if I do a preview, right, I should be able to select logo. I need the dot. Let me see. Could I get a AG version of the logo instead? Let's say. Okay, so there's apparently an error in logo.svg, which cool, I guess. Let's try it now. I wonder if that's even a good idea, right? If that's worth it to create in that specific way. I don't even know if I want to create this SVG logo. I have no idea what it looks like, right? And I can't preview it for some reason. I don't know why it's not letting me. They're just gonna delete this. Delete this as well. And then MD, of course. Just undo that change. what did we do with these last 20 minutes or so? Try to figure out what's a good idea. I'm gonna revert this change in a minute. Let's ask for 3 ideas for features to develop. Okay, let's work on an edit dashboard. Let's go ahead and fix this up. And let's okay, cool. We'll let it do its thing here. Let's add in edit dashboard.tsx here, right? And also dashboard.tsx, let's do that here. Okay. And then we're working on, this is VS Code. But we are building out a little student grade tracking app. So we have this lovely, lovely website, right, with students that can edit their dashboard. Oh my goodness. Well, that's ugly. I need to fix a bunch of things. Okay. Let's see here. The edit dashboard. You need styling and the edit dashboard needs styling, and the button should not be orange on the dashboard page. Also, the spiral circles are now missing from dashboard. So they need to be added back in. All right, let's try this. Yeah, if you want to see more about the repository, the link on the bottom tells you a little bit about what we're working on. I am a little tight on time, which is why I'm not going to like delve into a full-on explanation as much as I would love to. Is this edit dashboard type or regular dashboard? This should just be dashboard.css file, right? Yeah, so this is edit dashboard.css. Then this is edit dashboard.css. Cool. I mean, like the link that's like on the bottom of the stream that's scrolling right now. It'll take me a second, but sure, I can share it. Now, Copilot, what in the world did you do? Let's fix. Oh, cool. And then edit dashboard.css. I think I already grabbed it, but just in case, let's grab it again. 160, 160, yeah. So let's try to run it again, all right? We have our app, add a dashboard, right? Add classic, we'll change a suite. We've got this. This is a good place to stop. Yeah, let me share the link. Nudged resources. Also, I'm gonna take this time to drop the Global Hack Week feedback link. So that's mlh.link/GHW feedback. This is where you can give us feedback on the streams if you enjoyed them. Then next thing, let's go ahead and I think we'll push up our current changes. Adding to edit dashboard. All right, commit this, sync this up, and then I think we will be done in a few short minutes for the month, which is exciting. Yeah, as always, if you want to check out the GitHub, like it, start it, whatever else you would like, you're more than welcome to find it right on here. If you want to create issues or create a pull request, the project is open source, so you're totally more than welcome to do so. There's a couple of things in here that we talked about adding today and kind of worked through a lot of those, which has been pretty fun. And yeah, as always, make sure that you go ahead and give me some lovely feedback at the link that's currently up on the screen, mlh.link/GHW. And I will go ahead and thank you all very much for coming. I'm going to stay on for another minute or two to see if we have any outstanding questions or anything else going on. But otherwise, this is the official end of our stream. The next thing we have is closing ceremony with Starf and Quinn, taking place at 12 p.m. Eastern time, which is in just in an hour and a bit. So it'll be exciting. Thank y'all for coming. And yeah, that is pretty much everything for me for now. All right. I will give it another minute or so for any last minute questions, and then we will pop out from there. Alrighty. Nothing that I'm seeing crazily in the chat, so I'm going to go ahead and put on our little GenAI thank you and see y'all later. Leave us some feedback right on here, and I will see y'all in the next one. See you in July. Bye, everybody.